While authoritarian leaders defend their position at the top of a strict hierarchy, true authoritarianism takes root at the ground level. The thugs who carry out the orders are usually bullies endowed with authority in the form of badges and instructed to go into the streets and intimidate ordinary people. They're generally not educated in law, nor do they have a basic understanding of societal workings. They see themselves as avengers against perceived enemies, often without a clear definition of who those enemies are. It doesn't matter whether they obey the law, it doesn't even matter that they perform their duties correctly. What truly matters is the fear and intimidation they spread, all in service to the authoritarian leader who has a simple message: comply with my wishes and you'll be okay. Hitler had his brown shirts, Mussolini had his black shirts, Maduro had his colectivos. Even in the United States, many local authorities operated in conjunction with the Ku Klux Klan to establish a local order that lynched anyone who interfered with the power structure. These enforcers weren't aberrations, they were the necessary foot soldiers of authoritarian regimes. And in our modern era, the U.S. has its own version. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, was originally established as a department within the Homeland Security to enforce immigration policies under President George W. Bush. But ICE has since evolved into something far more sinister, a paramilitary arm of the Trump administration, used not for lawful enforcement, but for political intimidation. Their official mandate may remain customs enforcement, but in practice, they snatch people off the streets and disappear them into for-profit detention centers hidden from public scrutiny. Now, part of what makes ICE so dangerous is the lack of accountability built into its structure. Unlike local police forces, ICE operates under federal jurisdiction with limited external oversight, meaning abuses often go unchecked and victims are left with little, if any, recourse as they disappear from society. Now, you might wonder if this is an exaggeration. Well, surely this isn't how federal agencies behave in a democracy, is it? On the contrary, here are just a few of the most recent documented abuses by ICE agents. Just last Friday, the Democratic mayor of Newark was arrested and detained for trying to lawfully inspect a private-operated ICE detention facility in his city. 3 Democratic members of Congress were roughed up when they tried to step in. On May 5, Daniel Orellana, a 25-year-old Guatemalan, was detained at a Massachusetts gas station, even after agents were told they had the wrong person. One reportedly said, "Okay, but we're going to take you anyway." On April 26, Department of Homeland Security court papers admitted that ICE agents had no warrant when they arrested Mahmoud Khalil, a Palestinian activist and lawful permanent resident of the United States. Now, I could go on. There are many more examples, but I think you get the point. This is not law enforcement. It's intimidation. And it's working exactly as intended. Adding fuel to the fire, the Trump administration has recently floated the idea of suspending habeas corpus, a constitutional safeguard that ensures anyone detained, citizen or otherwise, has the right to be heard in court. Now, why suspend this basic right? Well, the reason seems clear. It's the perfect vehicle to intimidate people with impunity. It allows street-level gangs to operate unchecked as they help usher in a new authoritarian regime. And here's the frustrating part. I'm going to get down on Democrats here for a second. Because rather than confronting ICE head-on, many Democrats, not all, but many, have chosen political safety over moral clarity, presumably fearing Republican attacks more than the collapse of our Constitution. Their silence is deafening, and their inaction enables continued erosion of our democratic foundations. I'm not one of them. I'm standing up. I'm not going to be intimidated. ICE is going far beyond its original mandate. It is rapidly evolving into a tool for authoritarian consolidation used to enforce ideological conformity and silence opposition. If left unchecked, we may soon see ICE agents riding in the back of pickup trucks, guns ablazing, menacing the street in much the same way as militarized enforcers in failed Middle Eastern states. Our call to action is clear. We must push back at every opportunity when we see ICE at work. Yes, it will involve risk, and we as individuals must weigh the risk against our own personal safety. But to allow this to continue unabated is to allow the rapid takeover of our cherished democracy and ultimately the loss of our freedoms and liberties. If we fail to resist now, history will not forgive our silence. The time is now. My name is Dan Schaefer, previous Democratic candidate for the Missouri House of Representatives, District 97, and future Democratic candidate for the House of Representatives, District 97 in Missouri. Thank you very much for your time.